Don Copeland here today with the DTG G4, and today we're going to show you how to make this shirt look like this shirt. All right, it's a process of foil application using your DTG G4, and so we're going to show you the steps here, and it's a great opportunity just to expand what you can do with the machine, make some different offerings. In this case, we did a whole front of a shirt, but you could just use this for highlight and other designs, maybe numbers on the back or stuff like that to highlight something, you know, the bride-to-be, and you could have bride in foil and then the colors just printed straight onto the shirt. So anyway, let's show you what we did. Not unlike a traditional DTG print and printing on a dark shirt. What we've done, we've already pre-treated this shirt just like you would pre-treat any other shirt you're going to print white ink on. And we've actually set up the artwork in the same way, just a little difference in the RIP. Let's start off real quick by showing you what we did there to get that done. So we've imported our file. This is a PSD file we brought in that was basically, as you can see in Photoshop. In Photoshop here you can see this is just a transparent background that's designed in gray. We've imported that into the design, placed it where we wanted it, and we're going to print it at 600 by 600 black shirts. One difference we've done is we've double-clicked on the design, and that's going to open up our job ticket properties, and I'm going to go under the color layer and my printer options, under my layer profile, and we're going to tell it to print, instead of one pass down here, we're going to tell it to print 4 passes. So what we're going to do, in essence, when we process this job, we're going to print the white layer as we traditionally do, and then we're going to print the color layer 4 times. I've generated this artwork with a grayish color so that it matches as closely as possible to the foil I'm going to use. In this case, I'm going to use a silver foil. If you were using a gold foil, you would use a goldish color here. If you're using copper colored, you would use a copper colored color in orange. So you want to try to match the color of the ink as close as possible within reason to the color of the foil. In case there are any areas where the foil might fleck, you still won't recognize that it's not foiled in that location. Once we've done it, we'll actually go ahead and process that design. And you'll see when it's done, when we open it up, it'll actually show all 5 layers that we're going to print. That way you know you've set it up properly. I'll give you a cost here also of what it costs for the total for the ink on this shirt. It'll show up over here in a second. You don't need to get carried away on the resolution of this. This has got fairly high detail, but the 6x6, 600 by 600 is plenty of detail, and it's going to print much faster than the other general settings. We slide over here, see there's $1.41 worth of ink, and if I do a real quick preview of this design, you see there's my gray printed on it, showing me on a black background. If I look here, you'll see there are actually 4 layers of color. The first layer, if I turn all of these off, if I just turn on the first layer, you'll see that's my white. All right, to get this out of the way here, you can see it. And then as I turn on each layer, it's going to start to add those. There are 5 total layers, 4 of them are in color. So that's exactly what we wanted it to do. Send that over to the printer, and then we're going to go ahead and print the shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to the printer now, and let's hop over to the printer again. So as I mentioned before, this is just like printing a traditional shirt. If you look over here, you may get close on this. You can see the design is there. That's a design we sent over. It's sitting there on the display of the G4. So as soon as I load this shirt on and hit the load button, it's going to go ahead and print this design. When I timed this a little earlier, it's about 5 minutes and 10 seconds or so for the print. So it's a little bit longer than a traditional dark shirt, but the effect that it's going to give us is amazing. All right. Well, it's printing. I'll show you a little bit about what we're doing on the next steps. This is actually the foil. All right. This is you can buy this. I think we have 6 or 7 different colors on Coleman & Company. There'll be a link on this video showing the page on Coleman & Company that we have the foil on. It's under $40. It's like $37 or $38 a roll for 200 feet. When you do the math on that, what it comes down to is basically 20 cents a foot. This design here that we did, I used about 15, 16 inches worth. So even if we called a foot and a half, we had 30 cents worth of foil. We said $1.41 worth of ink. That's $1.71. With your pre-treatment, you're right in the area of about $2 to produce this shirt. what I did is I took the foil, and you're going to probably, if you're doing a lot of these, you'll have gotten some practice, or if you're just doing lettering, you'll just have a rectangular design or whatever. And so what I did is, this is the post-transferred version of the foil, and I actually did a little quick trim out around that piece. As you can see, the part where the foil itself is gone from the release agent. And I actually took a quick marker and marked that off onto the foil and snipped it off that way, so I don't have a lot of cleanup around the shirt, because this foil will temporarily attach to the pre-treatment where it's pressed against it, so we don't want to have a lot of cleanup. It does clean up, and we'll show you a shirt here in a minute that we actually washed that has had the same issue with the foil all over it, and it came right off. So this is what we end up with for our foil shark. Looks more like an orca, but that's all right. That's what we're going to place down to press on to the shirt. So I grabbed the shirt that we had printed before. This was actually done the same method we're doing. I just used the word foil. And as you can see, there are no remnants of foil anywhere except where the print was. Whereas before we washed it, it actually had a little bit of glitter around, so to speak, and that came off really easily. You can spend some time trying to clean it up with some tape or with a roller like a lint roller, but the easiest thing to do is just throw it in the wash. It softens the shirt up, it softens the foil up, and any foil that did not adhere will come off, so you're not going to have a worry. And it's very soft. So it is to come out. As you can see, as I lift it up here to take it over, it is pretty much a dark gray, which is fine, which is kind of what we were looking for. Go ahead and open the press. You can do this on a clamshell. However, on a really large print like this, it's hard to get even pressure all the way across it for the levels you need to attach this to the ink. So now we're just going to lay this on top of it. All right. Literally, I don't think I'd do that again if I tried. I just about nailed it on my first try there. Just make sure that there's no ink sticking out. I overcut this by about ½ an inch or so we should be fine with it. Just take your regular finishing sheet. Probably not a bad idea to give it a good wipe just to get any wrinkles out, and close it up. Speaking of wrinkles, if you want to take that sheet and wrinkle it up, like when you take your Christmas present, wrinkle up the paper, straighten the paper back out, put it back down, the foil back down, then press it on, it's going to give you a distressed look to the print without having to do the distressing in the software. This is a maximum pressure. You're going to cure this, like I said before. This is a DTG print, so it still has the same time and temperature. We like a little bit heavier pressure on this, just to make sure we get that bond, that fusing between the foil and the actual ink itself. 3 more seconds. When I pull this off, it's hot. You'll notice, you can probably see in there, hopefully you can see it in the film, you can see the impression. It's nice and consistent around here where the print is. Now this is a cold peel process, so we want this to cool down before we peel it. Usually what we do, if you have a table sitting around, I don't know, I have a metal table, so I'm just going to throw this onto one of my large printers and let this cool down, and then we'll show you in a minute how we peel it. So as you can see, it's already due. I like to find a point that I can get a good grip on. Hopefully I can pull it off in one piece. Usually it does. Oh! Except when you're on video. There's one. Oh, I'm going to get 3 on this one, I think. 2. There you go. So now as you can see, that foil is all attached perfectly. And there is some remnants out here from the foil itself. That's where the foil came in contact with the pre-treatment. As you know, if you have a DTG, when the first time you wash it, any pre-treatment that has not interacted with ink is going to come off, all right? So if you do want to clean this up for your customers, there's a couple ways you can do it. We'll show you real quick on part of this how we've cleaned these up in the past. This is just a piece of packing tape. I'm going to take this down. As you can see as I go through here, it's actually peeling a lot of that away already. And if you notice, I'm going over the area that I actually transferred down, and it's not peeling up. However, there'll be some that will come up there, but that's all right. It was going to come off in the wash anyway. That's that which is not bonded. All right, you can do that to clean it up. Or like I said, you can just throw it in the wash. and you'll end up with a completely clean print like the one we showed you at the beginning. Actually, that one wasn't even washed. This one that we're getting ready to throw down here, this one I just cleaned up with tape. See, it came out pretty good there. And then this one, which would have looked like the first one, completely cleaned up when we washed it. So that's it. That's the steps you would take. I mean, realistically, as you get this cycling, I would pre-treat a few shirts ahead and take them printing. Since they take 5 minutes to print, right, you can go ahead and get them printed and then get them pressed with the foil, let them sit around because it's a cool peel process, and then as you have time, peel and clean the shirts as you go. Realistically, I think you could produce 8 or 9 shirts an hour, maybe 10 in this type of process, depending on size. This is a really big foil transfer. So say you did 8 shirts in an hour even, you're going to make $25 or $30 on each one of these shirts. So once again, we're at $200 to $300 an hour, which is really where we ought to be on custom equipment like this.